Hello everybody, I'm Nathan, and this is Chaos Life, and I'll be telling you about a nightmare I had. About kinetic sand. Yes, kinetic sand. It was pink. This is why I'm afraid of kinetic sand, okay? So I was like a scientist or something working in some sort of a laboratory, where someone found some like kinetic sand-like substance at the bottom of the sea. And I was, for some reason, tasked to study it. And every time when someone touched it, they got stronger, but slowly more and more psychotic. So I thought the most reasonable thing to do in that situation is just simply lock it up and straight up just phase out any human testing with it. So I'm over here. So I'm preparing to like move this to the room in like a hazard suit. For some reason, I was moving it. Then I get knocked unconscious by someone. Probably one of the crazy people. I don't know who knocked me out. Someone. We're just gonna say it was Phil. Why? Because I want it to be. Anyways, I wake up in my room, or laboratory, room/laboratory, and everything's like totaled. Like my chairs are broken. The place is a disaster. And I start like walking out of my room /laboratory. And I see someone. He's like kind of, there's something really up with him. He's like, he has his hands on his head. He's staring at the floor, like talking to himself, while violently swinging around. I'm like, I know it's like a handgun, like on like a, I don't know, it was like a dresser next to me. I'm just kind of, hey buddy, as I like just slowly reach over for it. I was like, you okay? While I'm still reaching for it, I grab it. Then he just starts charging me. I shoot him about 3 times in the stomach, 1 in the leg, and he falls down. And I think to myself, oh god, I killed him. He's dead. He's dead. Oh god. And I start walking away, just kind of reeling from that. I turn around and he's getting back up. I shoot him about 10 more times in the head, and his head exploded, then he died. Now I think to myself there, what the frick did I just kill? Because that was not human. Anyways, I find a computer and I like boot it up, and I'm like, facility, containment breach, everything. Like every door was open. It was like, that's not a good sign. And I'm looking around and I just see like a vast sea of this kinetic sand substance. We're gonna call it the pink sand because it's pink and it looks like sand. And it's just like almost everywhere. Like it's on the walls, the ceiling, the floor. I had to like put on like boots. Well, first I had to find some boots to put on. Because, you know, probably shouldn't touch the demon kinetic sand. Just, you know, an idea. So I was like walking around like, I found some like planks. Like kind of like long wood planks. To bridge across with. And I'm like halfway through it. And like this kinetic sand forms into like a tentacle and starts trying to like destroy the boards. So I fall in. Now I'm running across these very thin boards being snapped. I get to the other side. I grab the shoes. And I find a few more bullets. And I turn around and I see like 5 more guys all charging me. And I think I should run. So I run and I lock myself into a room. I don't recall what really was in that room. I recall there being a bed and a dresser with more bullets. And I think to myself, I need to get to the armory. And I kind of sneak out. Like these things have like the attention span of an actual zombie, like just none. So I waited in that room for 2 minutes and just like snuck out. And while I was heading to the armory, I heard like a voice saying "give in" or something. I don't really remember if it was like male or female. I just remember it kind of echoing down the halls, kind of in my head. And I was like, "Yep, I'm definitely losing it." When I finally get to the armory, it's locked. Like my key card's not working. Neither's passcode or like the override lock. Nothing's working. I was like, crap. And I think to myself, okay, let's just start by getting power back, because like all the lights are off, nothing was working. So I think I should just get the power going. So I start heading down to the room. I find a few dead bodies, all heads like clean off, and some of them, one of them had a shotgun. But you know what? If in doubt, go with the shotgun. If you're ever in a horror movie, grab the shotgun. It's very helpful. So now I'm like walking around here, and these things, like weird kinetic sand, like squids? Not squids. Like blobs were like jumping around. And I was like, no, shooting them worked. It just didn't kill them, it just kind of like stunned them. So the shotgun was pretty much useless against them. Like the handgun was the way to go with those things. I finally get to the other room, to like the power plant, to turn on the lights. There's like a room between the actual power plant and like a room for like the Tesla coils. I get in there, power turns on, the electrical coils turn on, and then I see then a guy walks in. He kind of like falls over, was like doing the same thing as the others, like mumbling to himself, violently flailing around. Then a bunch of kinetic sand start like slowly like grabbing him. Then he turns into like a giant gorilla thing. Like imagine a gorilla, except it's not hairy, pink, made of sand, a few human, some flesh, and and violent murder rage. That's what I got. Anyways, I had to like trick him into like jumping into the electricity coils to electrocute him to reveal the body to shoot it. This went on for about 20 minutes, and I finally killed the thing. And the guy's somehow still alive. He says like one last thing before he really dies. Get to the laboratory, my laboratory, and he dies. I go into the power room. I find a flamethrower. Not really a flamethrower. No, it was the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher. With no bullets, of course. Or grenades, I guess. I only found like grenades twice throughout the entire thing. It was useless, like most of the time. And I finally get the lights back on. I can now see in front of my face. All the like security things were down, besides from like the doors. So like the turrets, the flamethrower things, they're all off. Couldn't get those online no matter how hard I tried. I think to myself, what to do next? And I think I should make sure this entire place is on lockdown. Like everybody in here is affected. We don't want it getting out. And everything's like closed down. Everything's like sealed tight. Nothing's getting in. Nothing's getting out. And I managed to turn on the security cameras, and I see like a refuge base with a bunch of other scientists, survivors, all loaded up. And I like download a map onto like my phone, so I can actually start getting around. Because fun fact, I have the sense of direction of a elephant, not elephant, of a human. I have the sense direction of a human. And I suck with directions. So now I'm trying to, like, and every time I try to, like, look at a camera for too long, kinetic sand would cover the lenses, so I couldn't see. So I had cameras, I just couldn't really use them. All connected to my phone. Anyways, I start heading down there. I run into a strange thing. The kinetic sand would start, like, forming around certain people's arms, and they would start like jumping around and shooting projectiles. They like to hang on walls, which is why we will call them climbers, because they climbed, and are really annoying. Shooting them in the arm did nothing, so you just have to aim for like their main body or head if you had a good enough aim. Anyways, I at some point got locked in a room, and there was just like a horde of enemies I had to kill. Then I keep going. I see, like, some of them trying to, like, break down a door for some reason. And I hear, like, someone crying. So I think, I should probably do something about that. Shoot them. Which, you know what? One solid shotgun to the face really blows up a head. I don't know why I know that, but I know that. And I open the door. It's like a little girl. I don't remember what her name was. But she was kind of terrified of me at first, because I had like blood on my face. And I basically kind of just dragged her. Not really dragged, she kind of agreed to come with me after I wiped the blood off my face to the survivor camp. And after I get in there, there's like a bunch of survivors. They greet me. They're all like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." Anyways, one of the I pull out like a key card. Like, do you know where this laboratory is? And there was this guy. We're gonna call him John because I want to. And John was like, "Yeah, that's Dr. Felix's room. We're gonna call him Felix, even though he's dead." And Felix's room was like covered in it, covered in the sand. Like no one could get in. Like explosives weren't working. No, nothing. And so I came up with a plan. We were working on a weapon of sorts. Basically, it's a laser gun, and it's it takes up a large amount of power, and it obliterates pretty much anything. And Felix was the one working on it, so I could easily move it to his room. So the plan was to upgrade the power by overloading it into that. And in order to do that, I had to go through like the aquarium room, basically just where all the fish and stuff are. Which, you know what, that's a good sign. Totally not going to be some like demon fish in there. There was demon fish. They like leapt out and trying to like bite my ankles. And they tried to get me into the water. So I just like run around a bunch of fish while also shooting at things. Anyways, I finally get to the like the override room where I can like upgrade my key card so I can like have control over the system. I walk to the room, both doors locked, get covered in sand. I look to see a tentacle come out of the water, and it's now trying to, and there was like water everywhere, and the water was relatively low. Then the water started to rise, and more tentacles came out, and now I'm running around a bunch of tentacles. A head comes out, like a human, like, it's a human head made of sand. The kinetic sand stuff. And it's now like, oh god, here we go again. Anyways, I had to destroy the tentacles, because there was like little glowing things on them I had to shoot. After I destroyed them, the head was forced to come up for air, because I think the tentacles were like kind of like how it breathed, sort of. It could breathe through the head, but it would rather stay under. After enough shooting, it revealed the body inside of it, and then shot that, and after about 10 minutes of this, it died. I actually used the grenade launcher, and at the room's open, I upgraded my key card. I found a AK-47, and I realized with my upgraded key card, I might be able to get into the armory. I get into the armory. There's like actual armor for me to use, like just basic like SWAT armor, I guess. Basically made me harder to kill. There was also not an AK. It was like a better shotgun. I was thinking it was like a pump shotgun. It was quieter, hits harder, easier to reload, and faster. Got an upgraded handgun, which just had more more ammo capacity. And now I'm getting ready for this, like, I didn't know what was in that room. All I know is I was moving, like, a giant laser to it. I'm, like, rerouting all the power to this one device just to get in there. And then something over the radio intercoms thing says, "What is your status?" from some guy on the other side. And I go, "Help, please, everything's going to crap." They're like, "What?" Now I explain the situation to them. And they go, "We're going to send in a tactical nuke." And they give me directions to a bunker. I go grab the little girl. I place her in the bunker. The survivors were originally planning to help me deal with this. On our way over, doors get locked, gets covered in sand, with me on the other side. I couldn't get to them. And I just hear a bunch of screaming and gunfire, then just dead silence in like 2 seconds. I'm slowly backing away from the door. Then something starts like punching it. Something's like trying to break it down. A monster with like a squid head with guns now and like absorbed into its body. It didn't use them, it just smacked me with them, and constantly gathering corpses. So every time it killed like the main core body it used, it would just replace it. So basically I had to go around burning all of them with a pack of matches I found to keep them from, you know, the already dead ones from turning. And about 30 minutes of me fighting this strange creature that it was like a kind of like a mountain of sand that like surrounded the whole room. You know, like summoned enemies, it summoned blobs. It all it really did was summon things. It didn't really have any offensive attacks of its own. After I finally killed the thing, I think to myself, oh god, I failed everyone. Everyone's dead. I couldn't do anything. And I think to myself, I'm gonna go put an end to this. Anyways, I finally get over to the laser. Bullets. Armored up. No longer with anything to live for. I turn it on. It blasts a hole through the shell. It goes into the next room. And there's still another layer I have to get through. So I have to wait for the power to like kind of like recharge it. It took like a solid 2 minutes to do. And I get some security footage of what's actually in there. And I see just a strange shell with a few things in there, or a few enemies, nothing crazy. And I'm like, and I hear the voice again. I was like, come in. That's all it said. It just said, come in. I was like, this cannot end well. Anyways, the laser charge up. I finally get into the room with the shell. And the shell starts, like, cracking open. Nothing to, like, reveal its real face. But just two, like, strange arms. Like, the arms weren't made of the sand. This was, like, different. It wasn't made of human flesh. It wasn't made of nothing. It was just it. And now it's trying to, like, smack me. So I now have to run around two giant hands trying to smack me to death while the laser charges up again. I shoot the laser at the shell. Now, I just want to make this clear. It only broke the shell. It didn't harm the thing inside. And I see this giant creature with, like, okay, imagine like a stem. Then, like kind of like a tree, but all the branches are eyeballs. And it's, like, really thin. And it has, like, it doesn't have a mouth per se. It has, like, one eye on top that kind of glows, then turns into a mouth. So I just shoot it. Shoot its, like, smaller eyes. And there were a lot of them. I had to, like, use, like, explosives, shotgun. Once I shot all the eyes, its main eye would reveal itself. Then I had to shoot that. And when I did, it formed its shell. Like, it takes a while. I was kind of like on like a time limit. Wait for the laser to recharge. And and shoot it again. And then at some point it started summoning in like enemies to help it. And to be honest with you here, it didn't really care for the enemies that much because it killed more of the enemies than I did. And finally, it falls down to the ground. Like, it's not moving, it's not getting up. I think to myself, it's dead. I hear a radio message because now that the thing's dead, all the circuits are cleared. It's like now everything's functioning properly. I hear it say, "There is a tactical nuke coming to your location. Please get to shelter." I'm like, oh crap. And there's I had like 30 minutes to run to the shelter, which wasn't super far. It was like a good 5-minute run. I get to the shelter. We're gonna call it it. It is on top of it, guarding it, trying to keep me out. It's trying to take me with it. Anyways, after another gunfight with it throwing everything at me, it resummoned the bosses. It used enemies. It used fish. But after about 10 minutes of me shooting at it, it finally dies. Or at least gets knocked unconscious. I run into the shelter. Seconds left. I push the button. It closes. The little girl's still in there, kind of in the corner. Probably even more traumatized now. And I hear just a... And I don't know. Then I woke up. Now, I'm just going to assume how this ending went. I was in a bunker, so I was probably safe from the explosion. I was rolling there for about 2 weeks, since, radiation needs time to, calm down. The government comes and grabs me, and I guess the child. and fly away happily ever after. To be continued. Anyways, this has been Chaos Life. I'm Nathan, and that's a wrap. Well, not really a wrap. That's the end of the video.